I'm going to just do the live like this, y'all. All right? I do the live like that. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I know y'all just sat back there and watched me talk and didn't care to say, hey, your mic's off. It's all good. There's usually one or two, y'all. Make sure you hit that dislike button. If you're here to just dislike it, go ahead. Dislike it. I don't care. I like that you dislike it. I'm going to bring some things up here. Hold up. Let's bring some things up here. We might be headed to a civil war, ladies and gentlemen. This is not good. Let me get into this, man. Let me tap in with y'all, man. What's popping, AC? How are you doing, sir? Thank you for being here, my man. You are the dude. Let me turn that down. All right. Let's do this. Let me get my tweeter. Let me get my Twixter. Let me get my Twixter up. Because we're going to bring all the news today, Jack. See, this is what we're going to do. We're bringing the news. Okay. Sorry, y'all. Hold on one second. All right. All right. All right. Who's in here with us? You see. What's good, peeps? What's good, Kevin Jones? Primo Dupree? What's popping, y'all? I know y'all seen the news, right? I'm going to bring this up for y'all, man, because I want you to see the news I saw. I like to get it. I got some shit. Let's see. This right here. Last night. Let's go. Okay. All right. Now, I don't know how many Trump voters we have in here. How are you, Dog Soldier? Big. What's up, Pimp? What's good, Wookie? I'm going to run a... let's see. Present. What's good, Lost Soul? Let's see. Here we go. Bam. Let's let Tim Pool say it. This is sad, y'all. This is a big news. Big news. This is big.
Donald Trump has been disqualified. In Colorado, the Supreme Court has ruled that Trump, under the 14th Amendment, cannot be on the ballot. The first thing that means is the GOP primary ballot. And of course, that will mean the general election ballot. Now, there's a lot going into this. The ruling is stayed until January 4th because of appeals. But that doesn't mean anything because they have 90 days. I believe Colorado may be different, but typically you have 90 days to get your ballots in order for an election. And this means if they do not have a resolution by that day, the 4th, obviously,
get all this shit set up,
they may actually print ballots with no Donald Trump. The implications for this are very severe. It will jeopardize GOP primary, and that may be the key strategy here. Donald Trump has issued a statement about this.
Hear that, ladies and gentlemen? The key strategy. To me, that's unacceptable, and he needs to sue Colorado for real. That's just the beginning point. Like, what they're saying is Donald Trump is an insurrectionist, and that for that, the 14th Amendment lies that he cannot be president since he's an insurrectionist. Now, you and I both know, all of us all know, Donald Trump was never found guilty for anything that happened on January 6th. So how can you call him an insurrectionist and use the 14th Amendment of the United States government to say that he can't be on the ballot? He can't even be voted for. Weird or what, man?
Vivek Ramaswamy has vowed to remove himself and is calling on all other candidates to do the same. Of course, the other more spineless candidates likely would not. And we've got a lot of news outside of that as well. We've got 12,000 migrants crossing the southern border in one day.
12,000 people crossing. You think he'll win the appeal? I believe too, man. I believe it too. But here's the problem with this. This isn't the first state trying to do this. New Hampshire, Michigan, Nevada, all these states are trying to make sure that Donald Trump is not on this ballot. Or at least 5 or 6, I think it was. And Vivek Ramaswamy, one of the presidential candidates, says he's going to remove himself. Like, but the problem is he'll do it, but the other spineless pricks won't. Like, this is the problem that we have in society today. We don't have people that are going to stand together because they all want to be winners. Winner, winner. I'm not jumping on that because I want to win to be the president. This won't be an election. This is not going to be an election. This is just dirty. And then when you got your politics being ran that way, we're not far from being fucking just you.
Ashley St. Clair
all over the board.
Posting a video from the airport, from an airport. I believe this was in Phoenix when she was at leaving TPUSA, showing all these migrants getting premium seats, premium on airlines to be flown all across the country.
You hear that?
And of course,
hey, Jack, did you hear that?
There's a movie coming out.
Jack, how you see how New York didn't just adapt this problem? They're getting flown to New York. They're getting bussed to New York. They're getting put in New York. You think there's just a 12,000 person trip going to New York? No, Jack.
It's called Civil War. And they've got a map of their breakdown of what happens about what happens to this country. So we're going to talk about all of that. Before we get started, my friends, head over to thebestsongever.com. Click download.
Flight back as well. Yeah. So yeah, let's get into it, man.
Yeah, here's the big news, ladies and gentlemen. From SCNR.com, Colorado Supreme Court has disqualified President Trump from GOP primary ballot. Now, of course, it's more than just this. If they're arguing Trump is to be removed from the primary ballot, they're also saying the general as well. SCNR.com reports the Colorado Supreme Court disqualified Trump from appearing on the 2024 GOP presidential primary ballot. Tuesday's decision comes after a lower court judge in Denver ruled against removing his ballot access. Quote, a majority of the court holds that President Trump is disqualified from holding the office of president under Section 3.
That's a fact, bro. That's a fact. I think COVID's just like this. It's a disease, of course. I'm not going to say it's not. But it is like a trial run, isn't it? It's like a trial run. It's like, this is a test. This is a test of the emergency broadcast system. This is only a test. Yeah. Everything seems just like a test, man. And it just seems like it gets pushed further and harder and further. What else are we going to live with? Well, I mean, they're just finding out what we're going to allow. That's all. They're just up here trying to find out what Americans are going to allow to be done to them. We have to stand up at some point in time and say this shit is not fucking
of the
right.
14th Amendment of the United States.
It's not fucking right.
The United States Constitution. Because he is disqualified, it would be a wrongful act under the election code.
You can be Colorado. Jack, you can be the dumb as a box of rocks like you are and still care for your country. You can be dumb as a box of rocks and still want to live in this beautiful, beautiful land. You wouldn't be free, don't you, Jack? You don't like it here? Get the fuck up and leave.
Colorado Secretary of State to list him as a candidate
I would love
on
to
the
take your
presidential
spot.
primary ballot. Now, many experts have argued this is
Yeah, I
a
heard from
gross
Big Boy, bro. He's getting
misinterpretation.
back.
The four
Yeah, he's back. Yep. I talked. Big Boy was over here yesterday and the day before. I don't think you were in here at that time, Nick.
14th Amendment does not bar someone from running for president.
I was
It's only related to federal
was
officers, which
wondering
are
the same
individuals
thing before
appointed
that, though,
by the
Nick.
president
I was like,
or representatives and
Daddy should
senators,
call him.
not the president himself.
if you
The
pull that
lawsuit
off
has
on
cited a
population,
never-before-used Civil War
Thank you.
era provision of the 14th Amendment, which we all know. Crew has argued Trump summoned tens of thousands of enraged supporters for a wild protest in D.C., and
Yes.
that racism and white supremacy, the same virulent ideology that led to the Civil War, in its wake, the 14th Amendment, pervaded Trump's insurrection and movement surrounding it. There's similar lawsuits being filed all across the country. Several states have already ruled no. We judges, we may see these get appealed to the Supreme Court, and the same thing may happen. You know, I thought it was going to be Colorado. Now, there is some important.
Yeah, here's the problem. Here's the thing, though. If it does get appealed, and they win, do these other states stop? Do they just stop? Because if this is a federal thing, no, the states, it's not federal. It's state by state.
There's an important distinction here. The Colorado Supreme Court ruling is stayed until January 4th, but that's meaningless.
Yeah.
All this means is by
They're
saying
putting
Trump
it off
can't
even
appear on the
further.
ballot, they're saying when it comes time to print the ballot, don't include Trump's name. By claiming the ruling is stayed is meaningless because they're not printing the ballots right now.
Yeah.
The question is, if 3 months out from Super Tuesday, Colorado, they do not resolve this, Trump will not appear. And then guess.
Okay, yeah, his appeal. See, there's some people just way smarter than this than me, so I appreciate y'all. I need sometimes a voice for what I'm saying. His appeal would have to be at the federal Supreme Court. Okay, so it would become federal. So that way, if another state tries to do it, they can't do it the same way, right? Because he had already set precedents for winning the appeal. Or the state can still do it. You just have to appeal it. That's dirty, bro. Dirty politics. You should never put when the country that you live in starts allowing the political pundits to be attacked politically under the law that you're trying to run under, the country's in shambles. I imagine every other country just thinks we're just stupid as fuck. Because from the outside looking in, this looks like shit. Like we look like shit. We are nothing compared to what we were in the 80s. Nothing.
Who's going to win the primary?
And I don't know why.
I imagine Ron DeSantis. This is going. This has. Oh man.
The laws.
You guys ready? I hope you have a trusty fifth by your side, because for those that are enjoying a nice drinking game, you're going to need it. But we'll start slow. I know you're all getting ready, but not yet. First, the GOP is going to erupt into just bickering and infighting like we've already seen. I mean, one of the big stories out of last night with Tucker was that Tucker Carlson said the people who represent DeSantis online are some of the nastiest, stupidest, and zero-sum people he's ever seen.
Yeah, we can't see DeSantis is not getting my vote. I love what he's done in Florida, man. I really, really do. I really love what he's done for Florida. Great governor. Probably one of the best governors we've seen ever in any state. But what he's really shown us during this presidential run is he's a little bit more tied to him than what we thought. He's not doing anything like he was to the media back when he was governor, right? He's not talking to the media like that. He's not being like Trump. And Ron DeSantis should definitely step down if Vivek steps down and fights this and riots for this, you know? Sometimes what works on the state level don't work on the federal level. That's a fact. Presidents would work in his favor, but they still could do it. End of the day, I think it's like political theater, and Trump will be running for president. You think so?
Is apparent
I don't
that
think the Democrats try
the
to run
Republican
theater
Party
that they
is
don't look
not
good
getting
in.
along. However, most people support Donald Trump. And I'm not saying Republicans, most people. When they remove him from the primary.
You hear that, Jack?
And the RNC
You hear that? Did you hear that? I hope you're listening real good, because you usually watch all my night streams. Yeah, you watch them all, don't you? I hope you're listening real good. Most people will vote for Donald Trump. Not most Republicans, not most Democrats. Most people will vote for Donald Trump. Man, I just got roaches laying everywhere, bro. Like, gross. I don't live like
tries
that.
to give the nomination to someone else. I mean, this is going to be a revolt.
By the way, I don't live with bugs.
There was a lot of people that took issue with what Tucker said about the DeSantis campaign, and I've seen some of it. Like there are some people on the DeSantis campaign that have been fairly nasty and stuff, but there were a lot of people that were really upset that Tucker had the audacity to point that.
If it boils down to it, look, here's what the deal is, man. If Trump's taken off the ballot, who gets your vote? Put it in the chat. If Trump is taken off of the ballot, you think this is a distraction? Could be, since they know it's probably going to be lost in appeals.
Say that he saw that, or that was his
Were they
impression.
all from the DeSantis campaign?
I think they were.
Yeah, okay.
Well,
that's
it's a lot of fans of DeSantis, but look,
Anybody
when
like-
Christina
I'm
Pashaw,
about to think.
who is basically Ron DeSantis' number 2, is personally leading flame wars against Trump's fans, you've
Wow.
debased yourself. You have lowered yourself to that of a fan.
Jack
So
for
if
president?
like Taylor
No
Swift
way.
and Rihanna's fans
No.
are like
No.
arguing on Twitter, neither Swift nor Rihanna get involved, and nor do they
Here's
care.
the point. It is
And
right here. As long as it's not Gavin Newsom in California, as long as it's not Joe Biden, fuck, as long as it's not a Democrat, period. But I don't see where this goes without Trump being elected. This could end up ugly,
That's
man.
basically what Ron DeSantis' campaign decided to be.
This could end
Just
up
on,
ugly.
on par with Trump's fan base instead of Trump himself. So be it. So be it. But removing Trump from the ballot is the only way these people could win, which it's no surprise they've all made the move to try and win the nomination, because they all expect, at least everyone except for Vivek, they expect Trump to be removed.
Yeah.
This would be a great opportunity for them to prove everybody
sleep-
wrong
even
and
the
recognize
Republicans
the
win
moment that
here.
we're living in. And
That's
for them
what's
to say,
dirty about
this is
this.
much.
That is what's the most dirtiest part of this, y'all. Even the Republican nominees win if Trump's not on the ballot.
Bigger than my political campaign. This is much bigger than the Republican nomination. Vivek led it off perfectly. If they all rally around right now, rally around Donald Trump and say, hey, this is actually about preserving our democratic republic.
Yes.
That's what I think it's going to take for us to actually win. Because if we're divided, I mean, I fought a really hard Republican primary last year and unfortunately came up short because the Democrats don't play that game. If we fall for this time and we are not unified, we're not just going to lose the presidency. I'm afraid we'd lose the entire country. So I hope everyone recognizes what time it is right now and gets really serious.
They don't.
Real big news, man. Really big news, man. Jack didn't cover it at all. That's all right, Jack. Hold on. I'll cover it.
Try to be optimistic.
You know what we should do?
Trying to-
You know the minutes to
trying to
midnight
be
clock, the
optimistic
doomsday
here,
clock they
man.
have.
Oh,
We
yeah.
should get one of those.
Yeah.
We'll call it the minutes to Civil War. There it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we'll
That
inch it
pretty
forward.
face.
I love this. I'm seeing
That's
a bunch
a
of
cute
Democrats.
face. That's a cute face, Just.
I know, right?
He's cute. A little bit of.
I wonder what's Sean's opinion on his Johnson.
Just, do you vote?
I wonder what's his opinion on his Johnson.
Oh, his? Oh, he already knows. Oh. He already knows what his Johnson is. Do you vote?
Never.
You've never voted in your life.
I think once when I was in school for like.
Oh,
Nah.
so that don't matter.
Yeah, nah.
Okay. Are you a legal citizen of the U.S.?
No.
No. Okay. So you
Nah,
can't vote.
I am.
Are you serious? I mean, either
Yeah.
way, it don't matter. I don't care.
Yeah.
Either way.
In Coney Island Hospital.
Okay. Okay. So you can vote.
Yeah.
We're going to need you to get out and vote this year.
I got you.
Are you registered?
Nah.
All right. All right. I'll see what I can do. We're going to get you to vote, man. And you vote your way too. So
It's tweeting in
we need to
celebration.
get you in the
Yeah.
polls.
And I'm just
Let
Yeah.
you
and I'm
see
just
what goes
responding,
on and all
being
that.
like,
That'd
I'm
be dope.
really glad they did this because democracy is very dangerous
Be
to our
careful,
democracy.
Just frost ice on you. What's that
Democracy
stand
dies
for?
during the democratic process. That's
Hold
what
on,
Yeah,
can't
right.
happen.
ICE is the people that immigration, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Boy, you should see, boy, when we were in Marion County Jail, bro, when the ICE people come through, them people get up on the fucking wall, bro. They're looking, see whose name gets called. Oh, it's wild, bro.
Yeah.
That's
the number
crazy.
of people on the what you would assume to be
That's
the
Trump's vice
responsible,
president.
reasonable left
He
that
Trump would whoop his
are going to
ass in
jump
fucking
on
2
this and
days.
be like, oh, well, you know, and
Kick his
make
ass out in
excuses.
2 days.
There has been no due process to remove Trump from the primaries.
Mhm.
I'm not sure what mechanism Colorado is using. I'm not sure what they're
They like redefined the law, right? They defined it as it can be for a president. That was what they voted on, I guess.
Well, yeah, I mean, I suppose, but there's no other, like, it's unprecedented for someone
Yep.
to be, you know, he hasn't been charged with insurrection. Insurrection is a
No.
specific thing, and it's something that's
I mean,
outlawed.
yes.
I mean, outlined in the law. Like there are certain criteria that have to be met. He hasn't met them to actually have carried to be
Right.
been
There's
guilty of
there's conduct.
insurrection.
You know what kills me with this? You know what really kills me with this? Salute, big boy. What's good, bro? Donald Trump is being removed from the ballot because of insurrection. And insurrection is what happened on January 6th. Donald Trump was never arrested for it. But there were people arrested for it. So I don't know how you can move forward and get him off the ballot if he's never even been arrested for it. You have to have been arrested for it in order to be that. They're using... These are dirty, dirty tactics, bro. You should never see this in politics. When you start seeing this in politics and it starts being done without nothing being done about it, we're headed down.
There's the legislative branch has codified what insurrection would be.
Jack Frost shit on. We're headed down a bad. Ladies and gentlemen, the U.S. may see a civil war.
You understand?
There's an insurrection act.
Yeah.
This is but let's address this because everyone keeps saying,
You understand? Do you get?
Understand? You get what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
saying the same thing, and I don't think there's a definitive answer just yet. But we have this. Trump campaign blasts Colorado judges who removed him from 2024 ballot, vows to appeal to the US Supreme Court,
the
as he
judges,
should, and he has to.
What? Guess what?
And a lot of people are saying,
you know those judges that removed him from the ballot in Colorado? You wouldn't believe what they're Democratic appointed judges. Can you believe that? The Democrats appointed judges, and those judges removed Republican Donald Trump from the ballot. You can't make this shit up. This shit is horrible, bro.
but you know that they do this and Trump will immediately go to SCOTUS and get it overturned, perhaps. But also understand, I don't know if the Supreme Court may be favorable to Trump, perhaps. I don't know that the Supreme Court actually can overturn this ruling.
Oh,
I'm sure you're going to get a bunch of people screaming the 9th and 10th Amendment. This is not a general election held under U.S. constitutional rules. This is a private primary nomination process held by a state in tandem with other states to determine at a national convention who a private
going live tonight. Pookie weak. He's weak. He ain't get enough to get a hit. He gets paid tomorrow.
Organization
so
will choose to be their nominee, not a general. The Supreme Court may very well take up the case, and they may say, we have no jurisdiction over what a state organization is doing as it pertains to a private organization's nomination process. Imagine if someone was running to be the captain of the bridge club and there was some tomfoolery about, and the ballots were, screwed up. And then someone, I'm gonna go to the Supreme Court over this. They'd be like, we don't care about your private organization's leadership structure.
Right.
Mhm.
I don't know the Supreme Court can intervene in a primary.
And even if it was federal, the precedence isn't really great. I mean,
You're
the Texas
getting
case
right
where
where
Texas
it's gonna
attempted to
hurt
sue all
in
the
the
states where there
primary.
was discrepancies in the election, that never even got into the Supreme Court. So, I mean, this is just lawfare. Even if Trump can get it into the Supreme Court, they're just bleeding him out. They're making him expend resources that no other candidate's having to expend. And they're also beating it more into people's heads. Insurrection, 14th Amendment.
Yeah.
And then those of us that are, in the news every day will say, no, but actually he's never been charged. He's never been convicted.
Buddy,
but
I'm
all
telling
people
you
are going
what,
to hear
man.
who are
What
swayable.
What do you guys think is going to happen if Donald Trump's not on the ballot? Do you think that it's just going to go on with who's there? Do you think that there won't be an election at all? Like, it's not really an election if you can't put people on the ballot that belong there, that are actually wanted there. You see, like, I think something like 60-something% of the country wants Donald Trump, and the rest is like 30-something% Biden. Then it goes to like Vivek and DeSantis. Like, this is a bad thing.
They're going to
man.
hear,
Bad,
insurrection. Man, he must have been guilty of an insurrection.
But look, the worrying thing, and the reason why everyone should get ready with their fifth, maybe they have Jack or something, is because when you have what is Trump polling at 2.3 up in aggregate across the country, you can say Trump is an insurrectionist, but the average person is not accepting that.
Nope.
No matter how many times they scream it, the average person in this country,
Nope.
the majority, not even the plurality,
You done
support
fucked
Donald
up and
Trump.
arrested him.
So you run the risk of ripping this country in half. Now I'll give you some predictions. Colorado removes Donald Trump from the primary. Several other states follow, and they even make reference to Colorado and other states. Trump gets removed from the primaries. They don't need to worry about the general election.
Right.
Yep. Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley end up neck and neck. Ron DeSantis wins. You now have what? A 2024 four-way race? Probably not Biden, maybe. Let's say Biden, RFK Jr., Trump, and DeSantis all running. So perhaps what would happen then is no one gets 270 electoral votes. It goes to House delegations. It goes to Donald Trump. Let's say that Donald Trump is removed from the ballot in Colorado, but still ends up winning the nomination. I think Colorado has, as of 2020, like 1.7 million Republican voters. What will end up happening is if numerous states that are blue, we don't expect Trump to win anyway, remove him from the ballot, Trump will win the Electoral College with 50, 60 million votes. And Joe Biden will have 75 or whoever, or Newsom. Trump will win the Electoral College, becoming president. The media will then say, the Electoral College is archaic and broken. How can we have a president when he had 20 million less votes? The average person who doesn't pay attention has no idea why that is. They will simply be told people didn't vote for Trump, when the reality is you couldn't if you wanted to.
Right.
Then what happens to the sentiment in this country?
Right.
The people who support Trump won't back down. The people in Colorado who support him want to vote for him, but who can't, will still keep supporting him.
I'm not for the Rock anymore, man. He lost me with the shit with Joe Rogan. He lost me with the shit that he did with Oprah, trying to get money for Maui. The Rock's not under my good one anymore. I think President Trump chooses Tucker Carlson.
I think we inch towards civil war.
That's why it's so dangerous. I mean, if you love this country and you want this country to remain as it is and continue on our path towards progress, like having the judicial branch step in and say, no, we're going to decide who's on the
not
ballot.
good
It's
to be worried about
incredibly
going
dangerous.
into
And I
election
think
year.
the Democrats just don't care. They're willing to burn
Oh,
down
you're
the
good, bro.
entire
Yeah, no.
system right now
You're good, bro.
just to stop Trump.
Even
from
if you
coming
like
back
the
down.
rock, I
They're
don't
ready
care.
for it to go to
It's all
Supreme Court.
good.
Like I can already hear them.
You gotta
speaking
be
about Clarence
agree to
Thomas and his
disagree on
wife.
that one, though.
If it goes there, like they've got that ready.
I
to
like
go.
I
You know,
like
and
everything
so
The Rock was doing up until that. Yeah. Up until he started asking for money with Oprah. And then I heard about what with the Joe Rogan shit before that, though.
it's like an invisible landmine that they plant all these waiting for
Yeah.
it to go
He's
that
not
way.
as humble
What
as-
happens when, without legislation, come August or July of 2024? I don't know. Insert state Arizona. Just says, look,
I'm off work
we've gone
again
over
tomorrow,
it.
baby. Then I
We
gotta
think
work
Colorado
Friday,
was right.
Saturday, and I'm
Secretary of
off
State just
Sunday again.
says we will not be
Happy-
including Donald Trump
Merry
on
Christmas
the ballot
to
for the
y'all.
general election.
Merry
Based
Christmas
on what we've
to
seen across this
21
country,
people
the
out here,
rulings
y'all.
are
Let me
clear,
tell you.
blah, blah, blah.
Merry Christmas from my family to you and your family.
Merry Christmas
Happy
today.
Sue
holidays,
us.
Just
And then they
Yeah.
print the ballots without Trump.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, every single
Yeah.
activist, justice right now at the
Like,
state
not
level, every
good.
single activist judge, they're licking their chops right now. They want to be the next
I'm a
ones to
Christmas
do
elf.
this,
Mhm.
and this is just blazing the
Yeah,
path for it.
Arizona loves doing
What'd
it.
you say,
Yeah,
Jeff?
I'm an elf.
That's awesome. Hell yeah. Elf on the shelf.
I'm gonna be coughing a lot. I got some live rosin.
Oh, do you? You doing dabs?
Nah, put it inside the. Put it on top of the. I either sometimes put it on a sheet of paper, like I
Mhm.
smear it, but it doesn't burn well when you do that. So sometimes I put it on the weed, but
Yeah, what you do? Roll it out and then lay it all over the weed?
yeah, but it's hard to do it.
I know. It's a bitch. That's why you
Somebody-
should just get you a dab rig.
Somebody told me to freeze it and then make it into like like cold, and then you could just put it.
Just get you a dab rig, bro. Straight up.
It was like
Get some
110.
blast. Huh?
They had it in the smoke shop. I think it was like $1 and some change.
Oh, you talking about like the electric ones?
Yeah, they got all
Shit,
that.
you ain't got to go there, bro. I could show you a site to get you the rig.
Yeah.
Get you one of them buckets. That's what I call them. I use a terp slurp, but
I'm
and
gonna write,
you get you fucking
write something.
I got an e-nail now. I got like an e-nail. It's like an activator. You just slide it on there and it keeps it hot the whole time, bro. You ain't got to heat it up or nothing. It heats it up for you, keeps it at temperature. It's fire. It's fire. I don't get enough use out of it because I don't leave it on enough. You know what I mean? I'll use it to heat it up, get it at temperature, because it is get right at your right temperature and keep it there all the time. It's fire. But yeah, I've broke many dab rigs in my times, man.
Arizona,
Let me-
doing it,
let-
West
let-
Coast states.
Let me just say, I fully expect
Dabbing's the way to go, though.
every
bro, if you
single
don't
Trump
wanna save
supporter-
money. If you want to save money, you can get some good dabs cheap. That's the way to go, bro. I remember for a long time, I stopped smoking weed for like 6 months, dude. And was just dabbing, just barely eating, smoking flower. Just barely smoking flower, maybe a joint a day. But I was dabbing like crazy, bro. But it was starting to do something to my chest, I felt like. It made my chest really, really heavy. These do it too.
I think that's
I
why.
don't know what it is.
I think that's why they made different ways to get high. They got the little patch, they got gummies, they got edibles, they got the pens, they different ways.
Yep.
Everybody got, everybody's body is different on how they congest, or take in.
What you run stage 2 major custom rigs? Fire, bro. Fire. I follow a guy on Facebook. What the fuck is his name? He does custom rigs too.
Yeah, going forward from new year, new thing. I ain't about to be talking about this man.
Yeah, I'm gonna always be on Jack. But you can see that I'm moving away from him. I mean,
Yeah,
that way once he does fall all the way off. You know what I mean? Once he just
Yeah.
goes bloop, all the way off, we'll be over here doing our thing already. Yeah, there's bigger things.
to not only agree with what I just said, but
Serious,
actually take
though,
it a
man.
step
You can
further.
see our country going.
You should be thinking I'm wrong because I'm not going far enough as to what the Democrats are going to do.
Playing over
If
this.
you truly believe that 2020 was stolen from Trump in the most extreme ways with, Ian talks about flipping votes, even that can be
Yeah.
done through hacking voting machines and fraudulent ballots. Then you
Yeah.
better damn well believe that a Secretary of State banging a gavel, figuratively, is the first thing they do.
You saw
You
Donald
think fraud is on the menu? The first thing they do is just
What's that, bro?
Donald Trump Jr.'s post with the thing you was talking about.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's crazy.
He's a beast, bro. I like Donald Trump Jr., dude. I like that dude, bro. He's got class. He sticks up for his father. That I say that dude's on his way to becoming a president for sure, bro. I almost damn near would take Donald Trump Jr. if he ran. For real. The dude's got class, bro. Speaks with fucking intelligence. Yeah.
just erase Trump's
You
name
would
and
think
say,
it'd be
sue
different.
us. And while you're suing them, they'll be doing who knows what.
Yeah.
Getting ready for phase 2.
I mean, look how tight the margins were in the key swing states where Trump maybe lost 2020. I mean, we're talking about 12,000 votes, 10,000 votes in just a couple of places. So all it takes is a few Secretary of States or even county auditors just to whoopsie and not have Trump on the ballot, because they can say, look, we were confused. Like he's an insurrectionist, right? 14th Amendment. And then there you go.
Yeah, we thought everyone agreed. I mean, I don't know. What do you, what
Man,
we
we
I was
cannot
Media
allow
said
that
it
to
over and over
happen,
again.
man.
Yeah,
That's a
exactly. I was
other
listening to
country.
like CBS, ABC, all those types of places on the way in,
Yeah.
and they use insurrection with a certain
Insurrection.
tone. There's no
yeah.
no nuance to it whatsoever.
Yep.
They're in another dimension completely, and the people who listen to them, unless it's like someone listening to them
Yeah,
to see what their
Giuliani
point
got
of view is, which I'm
nailed.
sure there's some like me
Yeah.
and others of us, they buy into
Yeah,
that
Well,
dimension.
Giuliani
and
got
the-
nailed,
oh,
bro. That's
no, go ahead.
dirty, man.
This is-
We are playing with dirty politics, bro.
I was watching Andrew Tate, because every time I'm not even going to say all that, but just know I watch Andrew Tate a lot now.
Yeah.
Not saying that he influences me or I'm a follower. Just certain content gets me going and it motivates me, whatever. So
Yeah.
say that if Trump becomes president, they're moving back. It might be trolling, it might be joking, but imagine how many people probably feel that way that moved out of the
60-something% of the country wants Trump in office, brother.
no.
That's a lot of fucking people.
Imagine the people that moved out of the country that's gonna move back.
Bro, he brung back a lot of businesses when he was first voted in.
Yeah.
He was on a kick about bringing businesses back, and he brung Carrier. Carrier started right here in Indianapolis.
Yeah,
It's
I
like
remember
the heating and area thing, and he brung Carrier back home, bro.
production and more items with the made in USA behind them, not the made in China. Yeah, I know. I heard him.
Well, the thing is, we need USA products made, but we need to get back to making them like USA made fucking products were,
Yeah.
like for real. I'm in the vape game, and I'll be honest, bro, the USA made vapes, woo, them motherfuckers are not cheap, son. They're not cheap. And they're nice. They're hard, fucking core, fucking metal, solid.
Yeah.
We need our shit back, bro. We need our country back. Like, it got off track somewhere along the line in 1990, man. It was during the Clinton era. This motherfucker went to hell. Not like the suits Trump was selling that were made in China. Facts. Fuck Trump. Trump don't give a fuck. He's about that
This is
business.
fascinating. We'll get into it in a little bit, but
He'll
you know,
get them
Donald
fuckers
Trump
over there
recently had
working
this
hard for
quote
that dollar, won't
where
he?
he was referring to Democrats poisoning the blood of this country through their bad policies, principally immigration. And you get all of the media screaming Trump is now like Hitler because Hitler wrote in Mein Kampf blood poison and things like that. The funny thing is, the people being polled in urban.
See, here's the problem. Yes. Yep. I've seen the Swifts. Yep. Absolutely. Yep. They're pretty nice.
Urban Democrat strongholds overwhelmingly agree with Donald Trump.
Yeah.
They're
Here's the thing, man. You could have made someone believe Donald Trump was a racist 4 years ago. You could have made him believe that 3 years ago, 2 years ago. But you can't do it no more. You can't. You can't. They can't win with these little backhanded comments they can make about Trump because no one believes them anymore. They've done it so long. The Russian collusion shit. They've done it for so long, man. Nobody believes these Democrats anymore. Nobody.
They're outraged over the migrant problem. Now, again, I will save the migrant stuff because we do have a bigger subject on that. But I just want to point out the media is acting like the American people don't matter at all.
Right.
It's almost as if the corporate press realized, you know what? We no longer convince people.
All right.
Let's just keep saying the same thing, knowing they don't believe us. And who cares? The deep state will come in with the boot and the iron fist, and we'll do what we want anyway.
Merry Christmas, bro.
Yeah, the corporate press also talks about the Republicans who are for these types of things with Trump. And like they make it so the audience believes like, oh, well, the Republicans think it's good too, but it's the establishment cronies, who are into that. And they don't want you to have they don't want you to question narrative whatsoever.
Let's jump to
got about 11 days left to get rid of all the bullshit in your life. Okay? But I got 11 days left to get rid of the fucking people that are weighing you down. Get rid of the people that are lying to you. Get rid of the people that don't want to see you win.
And the bad habits.
Get rid of the bad habits. Get rid of the skeletons in the closet.
The baggage.
Baggage, yeah, all that. Get rid of all that shit, bro, because 2024 is right around the bend, y'all.
Negative
a whole new start, y'all. Just think about that. Get rid of it all. If anybody needs to hear that, not just you, Jack. If anyone needs to hear that, start over. It's all right. Get rid of it, man. If no one wants you to win, why have them around you? Because then they're just trying to suck from you.
Life is a circle. Everything comes back around.
It truly does. It's like them tables. They turn.
Yep. Too attached to nothing in life. Let it go.
Fucking right, man. Fucking right, man.
You don't own nothing.
Mend relationships, man. Mend relationships. Just know, man. You did the right thing. Everybody just understand 2024 is coming. I don't really have any what do they call it, New Year resolutions. I've done pretty good with mine. I mean, I guess everybody's got something they can change, right? I don't know what mine is yet. Now I thought about that, I'm gonna have to think of something. I've quit smoking. I don't drink. I'm not gonna quit smoking weed. Maybe I need to exercise a lot more than what I do.
Quit the soda.
Fuck, man. Maybe I'll do that coming with exercising. Only exercises I've been doing lately, man, is with bands. I've been using doing band work. I've been doing hardcore band work.
This next component of the story. From Raw's alerts, running candidate Vivek G. Ramaswamy has pledged to withdraw from the Colorado GP primary unless Trump is also allowed to be on the state's ballot. Additionally, he has demanded that Ron DeSantis, Chris Christie, and Nikki Haley do the same immediately. Bravo, good sir.
Man.
Yes.
He is basically just laid it down. I mean, he's everyone's before they can blink.
Yeah.
He's making that chess play.
This guy's pretty interesting. You guys know about this guy? The billionaire Vivek Ramaswamy? I got no problem with putting billionaires in there. I don't.
Because they got their own money.
Because they got their own money. That's one thing they're not going to be coming after us for. I think most billionaires would have our country at a good economy level.
Ron, Chris Christie, or Nikki Haley, who remains, I bet their polling drops. I bet people look at them as dishonorable for
Trump
this.
wants to be
Look, you don't have to like Trump, but there's going to be a lot of Republicans who are upset they don't get a choice.
Man, 4 more years,
you're being told by Colorado, we don't care what you think. You don't get a right to choose. Vivek is standing up, and he makes a really great point. In this long Twitter thread, Vivek tweets, "This is what an actual attack on democracy looks like.
Yes.
In an un-American, unconstitutional, and unprecedented decision, a cabal of Democrat judges are barring Trump from the ballot in Colorado. Having tried every trick in the book to eliminate President Trump from running in this election, the bipartisan establishment is now employing a new tactic to bar him from ever holding office again, the 14th Amendment. I pledge to withdraw from the Colorado GOP primary unless Trump is also allowed to be on the state's ballot. And I demand that Ron DeSantis, Chris Christie, and Nikki Haley do the same immediately, or else they are tacitly endorsing this illegal maneuver, which will have disastrous consequences for our country." Today's decision is the latest election interference tactic to silence political opponents and swing the election for whatever puppet the Democrats put up this time by depriving Americans of the right to vote for their candidate of choice.
That's right.
The 14th Amendment was part of the Reconstruction Amendments that were ratified following the Civil War. It was passed to prohibit former Confederate military and political leaders from holding high federal or state office. These men had clearly taken part in a rebellion against the United States, the Civil War. That makes it all more absurd that a left-wing group in Colorado is asking a federal court to disqualify the 45th president on the same grounds, equating his speech to rebellion against the U.S.
Wow.
And there's another legal problem. Trump is not a former officer of the United States, as that term is used in the Constitution, meaning Section 3 does not apply. As the Supreme Court explained in Free Enterprise Fund v. Public Company Accounting Oversight Board in 2010, quote, an officer of the United States is someone appointed by the president to aid him in his duties under Article 2, Section 2. The term does not apply to elected officials and certainly not to the president himself. The framers of the 14th Amendment would be appalled to see this narrow provision intended to bar former U.S. officials who switched to the Confederacy from seeking public office, being weaponized by a sitting president and his political allies to prevent a former president from seeking re-election. Our country is becoming unrecognizable to our founding fathers.
Has there ever been a time when someone was prevented from being on a ballot?
Let's go, Vivek.
I can't think of
I don't
any.
think
I
I don't think it's ever been used.
This is never
Yeah, I
happened.
mean, maybe not in any legitimate, like large scale kind of way.
Hmm.
You know, maybe there was some like a criminal was trying to do something and then they made a
Yeah.
filing. I don't know. I'd imagine it
I
had
think
to
the
be.
14th has been used.
Yeah, not the
I mean,
14th.
I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I'm sure somebody on the internet will fact check us. This statement by Vivek is fantastic, and how fast he put that out, not just considering how much length and information he put in there is great, but in politics, a lot of times you get told, hey, wait, don't come out right away. Let's test this. Let's see if this is going to work out. You know, maybe Trump going to take it off the ballot. It's going to be good for you. Let's give it a couple days. I think this is pretty genuine. He just fired off right away and said the stakes are too high. Let's all rally around President Trump. Let's rally around us actually having a democratic process. I think that's awesome for him, and I think that's the right way.
I mean, we got to have people that are going to stand up. Because right now, who's going to stand up? No one's standing up, is there? No one's standing up and saying, no, 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 this is not good. This is our country. This is our democracy. What is going on? This is not good. We can't allow this to happen, even if he is our opponent, because that changes everything.
No bueno.
That's a smart play to get them Trump supporters. Yeah, that's what they were saying on this other program I was watching. Even if
What if they just
it's
go
not
to
the best play for him and Trump gets kicked off the ballot, them Trump supporters are going to see what he did, and they're going to go right over there to him and vote for him. I think no matter what, I think no matter what happens in this election, we will see a Republican president. I think that the Democrats just keep digging them a hole, digging more of a hole, digging more of a hole, digging more of a hole. That's just what I believe. I want to go check in over here. All right. I'm going to bring this up for y'all, man. I want to check in on this.
Back to this shot, though, that does show the Gaza skyline there. This is a view from Israel as the war is now in week 10. The IDF providing a brief statement in English here to give the latest information as the war does continue.
Thank you, Admiral Hagari. As our forces continue their thorough operations against Hamas in Gaza, there's something worth acknowledging. Hamas uses civilians as human shields, forces the IDF to fight under circumstances that few militaries, if any, have faced in the history of modern urban warfare. We are defending ourselves from Hamas, a savage enemy that intentionally blends itself within the civilian population in Gaza and is hiding our hostages among them too. So while we fulfill our pressing mission of pursuing Hamas terrorists with force, we do so
Diehard Trump supporters won't support that other guy.
to minimize harm to the civilian.
Who do they go for?
You said this weeks ago. I remember you talking about this. You're talking about how they're surrounded by them and how
Yeah.
it would just get bad and worse for them. And look what she's saying. Not one time you hear AD coming up here. I told you. I told you. No, you said this weeks ago. I remember. You was like,
The
yo,
diehard, who do you think they vote for if Trump's not on the bill, dog? I don't think they go DeSantis. I think diehard Trump supporters hate that guy. But I do believe most Republicans may go DeSantis, middle of the no one. But do you think most Republicans that aren't diehard Trump supporters, that are middle of America, see this happen? Do you think they go DeSantis? I'm not going to say our country would be in shambles if DeSantis wins. I'm not. But I'm not so sure what we're going to get, what I expected I thought I was going to get from DeSantis. He's chilled out a lot lately.
That Hamas is hiding behind, all while urgently looking for our hostages being held in Hamas captivity in those same areas. The complexity posed by such a mission was evident on Friday, December 15th, when our soldiers found themselves in the devastating situation of mistakenly shooting the very hostages they were meant to save.
Wow.
The IDF Chief of the General Staff, Lieutenant General Herzi Halevi, said that shooting those waving a white flag, trying to surrender, is against the rules of engagement, hostages and civilians alike. We cannot lose sight of how we got here, who put us in this situation in the first place. Hamas seeks to blur the very lines that humanity dictates, the lines that distinguish between terrorists and the civilians that should be protected. It's sometimes difficult to comprehend, difficult to fully fathom the lengths at which Hamas is willing to go in order to kill Israelis. They will use any and every tool at their disposal, whether it is a hospital, a mosque, a child's bedroom, or even their own civilians. This is Hamas. This is who we're dealing with. And at the same time, Hamas knows who they're dealing with.
Days ago, the
They know very well that the IDF is committed to international
It won't be
laws
long
and
before they
values.
start speaking
So
on
Hamas goes
America.
to great lengths to use
We
this
need to chill
against
out,
us.
man.
Hamas is
If
weaponizing
this war is going
international
to take place, we need to stop funding it. We helped them get going. Okay. Stop funding it
law.
now.
Hamas is using our
We don't need to
humanity
fund this
to
war
wage
vicariously being a war.
Here
No,
are just a few examples from the
not
last
for
few
any
days
of it.
alone. Mere days
They wanna
before
be
the
in a war,
tragic incident
fine.
in which our hostages were
Don't
mistakenly
fund
shot,
it.
Hamas tried to lure IDF soldiers into a trap. They placed dolls in baby clothes in an alleyway next
Wow.
to children's school bags full of explosives while playing recordings of the words "Save me" in Hebrew.
What?
Hamas hoped to use our humanity against us, but our soldiers foiled the ambush before they could.
Whoa,
another
that's
example
that's
from the last
devilish
week.
there, bro.
An example
That's
that's been
devilish.
documented and distributed to the world. When our troops entered the Kamal Adwan hospital after dozens of Hamas terrorists surrendered from inside, IDF forces discovered that Hamas had been using incubators
Fuck.
to hide weapons and explosives. They literally turned the very machines that were supposed to sustain life into an instrument for death. Here's another example from the last week, an example that we documented and distributed to the world. Just yesterday,
Yeah,
the
they're putting
IDF
all this out.
exposed a
They're
massive
putting all this
tunnel,
footage out.
at least 4 kilometers long and wide enough to drive a car through.
you heard about
Tunnels in Gaza are not new, but this one is notable not just for its sheer size, but because of its location. Hamas dug this attack tunnel just 400 meters from the Erez humanitarian crossing, a crossing that had been built to benefit the people of Gaza, where
They're
Gazans used
taking
to
from
cross
those
into
people,
Israel
man.
to
That's
work,
so sad,
receive
bro.
medical treatment,
Their
or
own
visit
people
family.
are taking from
The
them.
Erez humanitarian
To fund
crossing
a
was a
war
source of
that they're not going to
prosperity
win,
and
man.
hope until the horrific massacre of
Gaza's
October
not
7th,
going to win this,
when
man.
Hamas destroyed it and killed and kidnapped some of the very people who were stationed there to provide humanitarian aid and assistance to Gazans. The same day we exposed Hamas's massive attack tunnel next to the humanitarian crossing that Hamas destroyed, Israel reopened another major crossing with Gaza, the Kerem Shalom crossing, in order to facilitate the entry of more aid to the people of Gaza. Because our war is against Hamas,
Yeah, Pope is
not against the people of Gaza.
a liberal. Your facts.
Our intent is to defeat Hamas and secure the release of our hostages. Hamas's intent is the tragic suffering of civilians in Gaza and Israel.
I hope
in
these
this
people
war
of Gaza
that Hamas started.
finally
Indeed,
can
there are
get
vast challenges when fighting an enemy
someone
like Hamas.
above them that can rule
Within
that
these
place.
excruciatingly
But I don't
complex
think there's
circumstances,
going to be much
we
left.
do our best to conduct our operations as carefully and as professionally as
They're
possible.
taking it, man.
And while our policies and procedures are in line with the law and our values,
I
we
don't
are
think
aware
the world's
that
going to
when
let
fighting
them
on such a
take the
scale,
land.
there may be deviations that require further examination.
But
The IDF has a robust system for doing so, and it starts with the IDF's General Staff's fact-finding and assessment mechanism. The mechanism is independent from the forces involved in the fighting and has already started working on impartial examinations. The findings of this mechanism serve the relevant bodies when deciding the necessary steps that are required per case. When misconduct
see,
is
they're fucking taking
identified, the
real
IDF will take
big,
action.
big, like
It also serves
everything's
our
being
lessons learned
documented, everything's
process,
being
and its
filmed.
recommendations
Like
help
war is
mitigate the risk
different now,
of
bro.
exceptional incidents
And
occurring in the future.
it's more
Our goal
dictated.
remains the same:
You know what I
to
mean?
dismantle Hamas and secure the release of our
You
hostages.
did. You
While
did.
this mission is urgent,
I don't think it's
we
gonna
will
be years
continue
because
to
I don't
fulfill
think
it
Gaza's
with
that big.
care
I think
and
you
with a
can get through
commitment
it within
to
a
the
year,
sanctity
probably.
of life,
But
both Israeli and
it
Palestinian.
just depends on what their
Thank you.
end game is here. We don't
And
know
that right
the end
there, the
game.
latest update coming in on the Israel-Hamas war. As we get more details from the IDF, any other news conferences.
Yeah, we just don't know the end game that Israel wants to do here. You know, we can't sit and say that this was something that they wanted to do. Right? This isn't a war that Israel didn't. They didn't ask for it. I mean, they're in it now, right?
And it,
They're talking about ceasefire again. So let's hope. You said you have extensive files. Fire. That's a cute picture, Just.
Jeez.
Could you imagine how tough this could possibly be? I mean, this would not be easy, bro. It would not be an easy war. That's a fact. I had something else for y'all too. Watch this. Oh, wow. He spoke again. Oh, wow. Here we go.
Who, Elon Musk?
Another good show. Oh, Michael Malice is on this one. Oh, wow. It's still live, too. Yep. Let's check it out, y'all. Fuck it. I'll watch it with y'all. Michael Malice is he's the one that wrote the book Anarchist Cookbook, or not the cookbook, but the Anarchist Bible or some shit like that. Like, he's a big time anarchist. Like, no rules. There should be no rules. That's a little crazy. There should be rules.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is a wild week. The Republican Party in Colorado says that if they remove Trump from the ballot, as it appears they have, they will not even have a primary. They're threatening to withdraw from the primary system and convert to a caucus system.
Yes.
And they're telling Vivek Ramaswamy, you need not pull out because we're going to convert to a caucus. So this would basically nullify what this ruling says. But that's not completely true. The ruling would also bar Trump from the general election as well. So if they convert from a primary to a caucus, sure, Trump can still win the caucus system and then maybe become the nominee, but doesn't mean he can be in the general election in Colorado, which means I believe about 1.5 to 1.8 million Republican votes removed from the popular vote count. We have a lot to discuss as it pertains to this. Now, of course, Vivek Ramaswamy said he would drop out. He called on Ron, Christie, Nikki Haley to do the same. Ron DeSantis has come out boldly saying, no way. He will not drop out because he doesn't think it's legitimate anyway. He thinks the ruling will be overturned. And he calls us, I got to be honest, very confusingly says it would play into the hands of the left to stand with Donald Trump and drop out of the race, which literally makes no sense. But sure, we'll talk about that. A bunch of other news surrounding this. And of course, everyone's two favorite words as we're getting into this subject. But I'm not going to give you your satisfaction. I'm going to say national divorce this time anyway, because now you don't get to drink.
Civil war.
Before we get started, my friends, head over to thebestsongever.com. Click download at your price.
So a national divorce would be what? Like certain states that say, fuck that. Right? What's up, Cuddy? Oh man, Ron. I know, like, come on, bro. You gotta step down, bro. Like, you're not really showing much guts like you did when you were in fucking Florida, man. What happened to Ron, bro? You know, I was going for Ron if Trump didn't run again. I wanted Ron. Bro. I did, because Ron did a great job in Florida. It's the best governor we've ever seen, in my eyes, of any state. He did so well. And what has happened to him? Is it the donors? Is it the people that are donating? He's getting much bigger money now. He might be listening to
very fun. Michael's been hyping it up. Of course, he's here. He's already laughing. And he was, yes, he's like, we're gonna have a lot to talk about as it pertains to whether there'll be an election and Roseanne and stuff like that. So, okay. We're gonna have a good time. So click join us, become a member, and smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, share the show with your friends.
Buttons right down
As
below.
I already mentioned, Michael Malice is here.
Hey, everybody. Glad to be back.
Who are you? What do you do?
My name is Michael Malice. You can watch my show. You're welcome. This week I have Will Chamberlain and Dave Smith discussing Israel. Next week, we have someone who I tried to get here as a surprise to you. You didn't even know this. Last year on April Fool's, Meghan McCain.
So
she's going to be on my show next week, record already.
But you came. It says she didn't come.
Correct.
Yeah.
And my episode on Jordan Peterson's podcast, where I get him to convince him of the virtues of anarchism, drops tomorrow.
Oh, very nice.
Anarchism.
Well, this will be fun. Hannah Claire Brimlow's hanging out.
Anybody there? Anybody here for anarchy? How you feel about anarchy? No ruling government whatsoever.
I don't even know what that is.
Anarchy means there's anarchy. I'll get the definition for you just so you know better. Anarchy is a state of disorder due to absence of non-recognition of authority or other controlling system. The organization of society on the basis of voluntary cooperation without political institutions or hierarchical government. It means no government, no police. You guys should just be able to live together all on your own. That's what that means.
I don't know. We don't need that.
Sorry, y'all.
Sounds like The Walking Dead.
Yeah, you think?
Great to see everybody at the event. Really good to meet everybody.
That's the problem with it, man. Everybody thinks that everybody will go crazy. I don't.
I love that show, bro.
I don't think everybody will go crazy. He said, nah, I'm good. They can keep that. I seen Mad Max. Yeah, buddy. That's the problem, because then if everything's anarchism and there's no rules, there's no government, everybody should just try to live amongst each other. There will be people with might that win more. The strong, that's when the strong will survive time right then. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the smart.
Just like Mad Max.
Really?
All the crazy son of the bitches. Mad Max is a good movie. That new one's fire. That new fucking Mad Max is fire. They talk about drinking mother's milk and shit in it.
Everybody, good to be a part of that. So I'm glad to be back. Hello, what's happening, Serge?
Yeah, you kind of stole the show at the last little bit there. That was great.
Oh, good to know.
I loved it. It was good. Yeah, hey everyone. Super glad you're here, Michael. It'll be fun. Let's do this show.
Let's roll. From SCNR.com, Colorado Republican Party says they will withdraw from primary and convert to caucuses if Trump ruling stands. Quote, a majority of the court holds that President Trump is disqualified from holding the office of president under Section 3 of the 14th Amendment of the United States Constitution. The ruling said because he is disqualified, it would be a wrongful act under the election code for the Colorado Secretary of State to list him as a candidate on the presidential primary ballot. Damn. The lawsuit was filed by Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in a DC-based watchdog group. This we know.
Yeah.
Vivek Ramaswamy, of course, said that he would withdraw from the GOP primary until Trump is allowed to be on the ballot. In response to this, the Colorado Republican Party says you won't have to because we will withdraw from the primary as a party and convert to a pure caucus system if this is allowed to stand.
The Republican Party spoken up.
That's dang wild.
That's
I must
good,
say.
though.
Now, as we mentioned in the opening of the show,
the Republican
that's
Party
great.
Stood behind Donald Trump. Finally, dude. We've been asking for this forever, y'all. We've been asking for this forever. Get behind Trump, y'all. Republican Party, get behind Trump. Let him go through all that Russian collusion shit.
Trump was at the UFC fight. That's gangster.
Yeah, he was there.
It still doesn't matter because Colorado's Supreme Court says Trump can't even run in the general. So if this comes to January 4th, maybe even sooner, Trump is going to appeal to the Supreme Court. I think there's a very, very, very strong reason why the Supreme Court will say no. Many reasons, in fact. Though many argue that the Supreme Court will intervene. It is yet to be seen. I think I feel like they probably will. I mean, this is way too serious.
I think it would. Not only do I think they will, I think it would be 7-1 or 8-0, because the judicial branch since the beginning has been very reticent about getting involved when it comes to votes and things like this. They really like it to be, and Jefferson was like thought that the Congress should be able to supersede what the Supreme Court has to say. They really don't like it when judges strike things off ballots and things like that or get involved. So this is the other thing that's very important from a legal perspective is Trump hasn't been convicted of insurrection. This is something that he's been alleged on. He's into it. And deranged. It's not so funny when Trump calls him, instead of calling him deranged, just calls him deranged. Jack Smith chose not to charge him with insurrection. So for them to unilaterally basically backdoor insurrection guilty conviction to this is really a bridge too far. And when you start interfering with presidential politics and you're like one state, this is something the Supremes really don't like doing because this is a big bridge to cross.
Right. And the Minnesota Supreme Court said, no, he didn't commit insurrection. This has to be decided by the party. We can't take him off the ballot.
Is that what they said?
That was Minnesota.
That was their official.
They said, I'll pull it right now. But
I thought their ruling was we cannot supersede the U.S. Constitution as terms.
Why are they even trying to rule for it? What is wrong with our fucking country? What's wrong with their country? Why is our government in each state now worried about taking Trump off of the fucking ballot? If there's not a fucking problem, there's a huge issue with dishonesty. There's a huge issue with it. And that's what this is. Our whole country halfway is dishonest. You got states just looking to take Trump off the ballot and finding out that they just can't. There's no way. Oop, we'll post that. Get the fuck on, man. Why are they even doing that if they're not scared? They're scared, bro. Can you believe the whole Democrat Party is scared of one man? You know why? Because he says he's going to clean house, and I think they know he's not lying.
Of eligibility for.
They said they can't rule on something
firing them all, and they know
party can decide, and they know that he hadn't been convicted. So the thing is, like,
Yeah,
there are already Supreme Court cases that say this doesn't work. We have immediate precedent.
And wasn't this
conflict.
4-3 in Colorado?
Get him out of here.
He has the power to do that?
Well, that was my thought. Did it to me.
He has the power to do that?
When he's the president.
Yeah.
immediately going to the U.S. Supreme Court. and
As
they're
it
gonna
should.
say 8 to nothing.
Well, why should it?
Unanimous be like, this is
What's that?
stupid.
Why
Yeah.
should it?
Probably didn't do
Because
it last
why
time.
should
He
it go to
ran
be
on doing
because
it.
it's such a big
Especially-
deal? What
Yeah,
do you mean?
Robert
No,
Barnes.
I understand it's a big deal, but like,
Trump last time ran on draining the swamp. He ran on saying, I'm firing them all. I'm getting in there and firing them all. And what he did was he got in there and played ball with them. He fired a few.
Yeah.
He brung in like mobile gas executives in and taught, for economical shit for the economy. I mean, we were winning. But he got in there and played ball with them. And look what they did to him. The whole time he was in office, bro. They
go against Colorado. Like, why would you want to take that risk and chance? Because I'll back out. What if he wins? That's just worse for y'all, because then he's gonna go straight to y'all as soon as he gets in there. He's gonna fuck with y'all. He's gonna go straight to Colorado. Okay, you guys wanted to pick on me, now I'm gonna pick on y'all.
Yeah, I bet he won't even go. It's because it's Democrat, bro. It's fucking Democratic.
I do think the Supreme
funny
Court.
thing is, the judges that came up with this are Democratic appointed. They're Democratic judges.
Yeah.
They're not even Republican.
Excuse
These
me.
people are playing dirty games.
Would
bro.
intervene because it's a big deal, but I'll
Far
give you
beyond
I'll
our
play devil's
thoughts.
advocate.
Okay,
here.
sure.
If
Far beyond our
Starbucks
thoughts.
decides to hold an election to determine the chairman of the board, should the Supreme Court intervene
hope
if
he does when
Starbucks
he gets
changes the rules as
payback.
to how the election is?
But that's
is
a
held?
private company.
And this is a private organization, the RNC.
Yeah, but no, it's not private because when you have, there's all sorts of regulations and things about who can get on the ballot, who cannot.
Yeah.
Like there've been laws, for example, like, California's like a jungle primary in the general. There's all sorts of rules and regulations by what parties, because there's many states, for example, where if I want to make it that I'm the Republican Party, only registered Republicans can vote. They still made laws that basically, if you're independent, you can vote. The different states, different laws.
Then fair point. Perhaps the Supreme Court does intervene for that reason, saying the state has no authority to intervene in a private organization's electoral process.
Either way, yeah, it works.
Robert Barnes tweeted out, which I thought was kind of
great.
Yeah, this is probably from 5:00 p.m. 4:58. It said the easiest path for SCOTUS to take in the Colorado Supreme Court Trump disqualified case is to hold a court has no constitutional role in excluding a presidential candidate from the ballot in the first place.
Right.
That is a choice the Constitution gives to state legislature and Congress.
However, this is a private entity that is being affected by this. But again, it's fair to say this is the state government intervening in a private entity. I think there's a strong argument, considering what we saw with Texas v. Pennsylvania in 2020. That is 2020 to 2021. The Supreme Court simply says the rules for private organizations fall to the state to decide. The federal government has no grounds to intervene in how a state decides nonprofit entities operate or public good service entities operate.
But my thoughts also go to George Santos, who God bless him. Have you had him on, by the way?
No.
Oh, you got to get him on. When there were a lot of people in the House, and I think they had a fair point, and I certainly don't have a particular lot of love for Congress people, when the Congress people were like, we can't kick him out if he hasn't been convicted of anything yet. Like, this is really crossing a line that, do you really want to go down this line where, like, we are just picking and choosing who our fellow members are? Because that axe is going to be used against us at some point.
I agree. But the question is, if a private entity within a state is engaging in a practice the state says no to, can the feds intervene? There are certain circumstances.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, I agree. However, I do think the Democrats are going to start screaming 9th and 10th Amendment, saying the federal government has no right to tell a state they can't run their own election as they see fit.
There's no question that you're correct, because the Democrats will take any opportunity.
Sure.
Like, they'll be tomorrow they'll pretend the 10th Amendment doesn't exist. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, of course they'll use that.
But that's the argument they'll use.
Listen, they're also making the argument that preventing you being able to vote for Trump is saving democracy.
I love it.
I sort of see this as an inevitability and an inoculation. Like, the Supreme Court's going to make a stand and say precedent. You cannot do it.
Dirty games, y'all. I don't know what else to say. I don't know what I really, we went from having a conversation to where we thought Vivek was going to step down, right? We started this conversation thinking Vivek was going to step down. He wasn't even going to run there. He was just removing himself. They were going to have a fucking rally. And now we learn at the end here that Donald Trump is actually getting backed by the Republican Party. I'll be damned. This is kind of like new, isn't it? Because he hasn't been getting the backing by the Republican Party. He just hasn't. They let him get roasted by for the Russian collusion shit. They let him hang out to dry, did they not? They could have won that case much sooner had the Republican Party backed him on it. I hope that it just turns around, bites them in the ass. I really do. Appreciate you, Just. I'm gonna end it, bro.
Yeah, buddy.
Salute to you, bro. Beautiful picture, by the way.
That's buddy.
It's cute. Just kidding, y'all. You know, appreciate you, Just. Salute, bro. Hey, y'all have a beautiful evening, man. I appreciate y'all. It's getting more time for Christmas. And like I said, we got like 11 days. You know, positivity for me, man. Positivity. Even though I rag Jack, I'm still positive about it. He's not going to change his life. Heck no. Hell to the no. That's why we don't care. We'll just rag you on it. Facts. I hope Trump really gets to become president again. I truly do. Not for Trump, but for our nation. For our nation, man. We need somebody with some goddamn balls back in that office. Biden walking around like a ghost. He's walking around like a ghost, man. When he talks, it's like blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. It's unreal. It's like, come on, man. We need some livelihood back in this bitch. And Trump, you're getting a little old. I need to see a good vice president come from you. So pick someone very bright, a little younger. Let's get a younger man in there with you. Can we start seeing the vice president come out with the president some more now? Because I'll tell you what, this team that we got in there now, oh, I don't know how they got there, but they don't belong there. They don't belong there, y'all. Hey, thanks for pulling up on me, y'all. It was a little political evening. I appreciate you, dude. Appreciate you, dog, for coming over. Appreciate you for being here, man. I think Dog might be going live, so let's roll over to Dog Soldiers live, y'all. All right, let's roll over to Dogs live. Let me get you that link. Let me get you that link, man. We're gonna go over to Dogs live, man. That gentleman came over here from my live, man. When he was about to go live, I didn't notice. That's why I ended the first one. So let's go over there and bless my dude, man. Take this link, y'all. This is to his channel. I'm sure you can find it there. If he doesn't go live, at least go over and fucking subscribe. Let's go, y'all. I appreciate you guys, man. From the bottom of my heart. Merry Christmas to you and your family. I hope y'all have a beautiful evening. Thank you for being here. Go out and do me a favor and just smile.